speaking, isn't it? All right, so so anyway, this session we divided into two parts of meditation. The first part of meditation is a meditation on focusing the mind using the breath, and second meditation is going to be on what we call the 4 limitless or immeasurable thoughts. Okay. Then just to say that the word meditation in Tibetan Buddhist tradition means to familiarize or acquaint the heart with something wholesome or beneficial. It's familiarize or acquaint the mind with something wholesome or beneficial. Beneficial really for oneself and for others. So that is very much the emphasis in Tibetan Buddhist tradition. So that would mean that if someone is sitting in the posture, which we'd say a meditation posture, and looks as though they're doing meditation perfectly, but if what's taking place in their mind is the cultivation of hostility and anger towards other people, but there's an appearance of something other, then in Buddhism we'd say that's not really meditation. Whereas if someone's in the middle of the city and they're able to work with their heart mind in such a way that what's occurring there right in the middle of a busy intersection, that really they're acquainting the mind with a kind of wholesome, beneficial attitude towards others, and that would be seen to be meditation. So the emphasis here in Tibetan Buddhism is about really, it's got to do with our motivation. But of course, there are conditions which make that more conducive than other conditions. For instance, having a nice place to sit, a place which is conducive for quietening the mind. Each person's a little bit different. And also, if you do it as a habit, then particular times of the day, particularly morning and evening time, generally said to be good times to cultivate the mind in a positive way. But there's no rigid, fixed, really something rigid and fixed. Each person's different. Yeah, so then posture is, in terms of doing meditation session, is something to take notice of, but not fanatically so. Two of the things that are important are that a posture allows you to feel relaxed, but at the same time, it is conducive for the mind to be focused and alert. That isn't to say that there isn't a place for people to do relaxation meditation or meditation to make you go to sleep. Okay, right? Might be the case, specific type one there. But in general in Buddhism, we're actively trying to do something positive with our mind. So we need to be first off relaxed, and then secondly have a kind of a mind which is alert. So then each person again it varies. But in general, the position of you take account of the position of your legs and make sure they're comfortable. If you can sit in full lotus posture, fantastic, really good. But if you can't, then fine, sit in a chair, whatever, or, have your legs crossed. Important to be kind of relaxed like this. Then back, good to have the back straight, because straight but not rigidly so, because that allows for the free flow of the winds within the body, the subtle winds which we hear about with acupuncture, using the winds there within the body. So there is to create the flow of winds within the body which are conducive for the arisal of positive states of mind. So in Buddhism, we have an understanding of mind not being physical, but there's also the subtle physical level of our being, and that includes the wind. The two are related. If we can do something positive with the winds within the body through posture, then that allows for more wholesome states of mind to arise. Then head position, again, have to work out what's most comfortable for you. But generally speaking, if the head's too far forward, especially after lunch, after a big lunch, tendency to fall asleep. If it's too far back, the mind can tend to get scattered. But again, once, each person to find what's most comfortable. In Tibetan Buddhism, with the eyes and the great meditators, the real yogis, more often than not meditate with their eyes open. The mind at least partially open. But probably for most people, they feel more comfortable with the eyes closed. There's less distraction. But again, something you to work with, find what is most comfortable for yourself. And so with this first meditation, first part of the meditation, the idea again to be a comfortable position in your chair or on the floor. And if you already have a method that you use to focus your mind using the breath, then by all means do that, engage in that method. Otherwise, one method that can be employed is to generate an awareness of the sensation of the air as it passes in through the nostrils and passes out. And try to maintain an awareness of the sensation of the air coming in and going out. Breathing at your normal pace. Just observe that, the natural flow, the natural rhythmical flow, like how it is. You might be at the beach and there's not heavy waves, but waves come in up on the beach and then they go back out again. There's a natural rhythm that occurs there continuously, tide in or wave in, wave out. So here with our breath, just to use this as a way to bring the mind into the present moment as best as possible, to be aware of the sensation of the air coming in and going out. And if we are able to do this well, then we're letting go of the past and plans for the future. That's not to say that isn't relevant, but in the meditation here, our business is to remain in the present moment. And as the different distractions arise, which they will, in different forms, in terms of thoughts arising, memories find their way into our mind, things that can arise from a long time back, things that occur from this morning, and then also plans for the future. As these arise, just a sense they're like bubbles rising to the surface of a pond, and they arise, they abide, and they dissolve. Just to note them, the awareness, even to label thought, memory, plan, whatever. Note them, their arisal. Don't get caught up in the thought, just to note that. Allow it to dissolve away and to bring the mind back to the breath. So neither trying to crush those thoughts, nor to allow them to overwhelm you, but just to note them and to remember our business for this period of time with the breathing is to, as best as possible, with kindness to ourselves, but with alertness, to bring the mind back to the breath. And so this simple process, but not necessarily easy, and just to continue like this for the next few minutes, no matter how many times distractions arise, when you become aware that your mind's been distracted, just to bring it back again. And that's our business here for the first part of the meditation session. So continue like this. Okay, so moving now into the second part of the meditation, but if you would like to just to move your position or whatever, while at the same time just trying to keep the mind focused. Just move if you're feeling uncomfortable, whatever, maybe you feel like standing, whatever, just to do this. Just to ensure that you're not feeling uncomfortable. So then, okay, so the second meditation, it's around the idea of cultivating an increasing concern for the welfare of others, a sense of generating more of a sense of kindness towards others, conditioning our mind with this, and in a sense establishing this more and more as a sense of one's personal values to live one's life with an attitude of kindness towards others, concern for others. And in so doing, if we do this, not only does it bring benefit to others, but as a byproduct of this, that brings benefit to us. So this is a meditation on what's called the 4 limitless thoughts or 4 immeasurable thoughts. Limitless or immeasurable, meaning that it brings immeasurable benefit, or limitless benefit, and immeasurable or limitless because it's directed towards immeasurable or limitless beings. So the first of these immeasurables or limitless thoughts is the immeasurable love. And love, from Buddhist perspective, means the wish for others to be happy. And if it's measurable, immeasurable means that it's directed towards immeasurable numbers of beings. So then thinking here how it is our very existence depends upon others. That our body has been formed within the body of another being. And they could have died giving birth to us. And then we couldn't have survived for the first 2 or 3 years without someone there caring for us, protecting us. And then in the first 2 or 3 years, and then as we growing as a child, as a toddler, as a crawling person, then a toddler, starting to walk, very much dependent upon others. And dependent upon others for the food we receive. Usually from the mother initially, and then afterwards, thinking about how it is that our body can't survive without food. How many meals have we taken over this life? And how many people have been responsible for producing the food that we have? And even if we say we pay for it, Still, if there's not someone there who's prepared to work, the farmer's not there to prepare to grow that food, we don't get the food. And also, most likely, many of the meals that we've had have been cooked by others, been prepared by others. And the clothing we wear, that depends upon others. And the education we receive also depends upon others. And the jobs we receive depends upon others. And living in this country with the social security system, medical system, retirement system, and system of pensions comes independence upon others. And meaning in this life, real meaning comes very much in relation to our communication with other people, our interaction with others. We breathe the same air, walk on the same earth. The rain falls on us all. The sun comes down on us all equally. And then at the end of this life, just like in the beginning, we will most likely be dependent upon others. So generating an attitude of loving kindness towards others, wish for others to be happy, isn't because the Buddha said so, or Jesus said so, or parents said so, but simply because it's the logical thing to do, because of recognizing how others are being kind and are being kind. So that is limitless love, in the more that we expand it out to see how other people, as many people as possible, have been kind, seeing others in a good light, seeing the beauty of other beings. And then we have compassion, limitless compassion. Compassion is the wish for others to be free from suffering. So having recognized that being kind, having that perspective, but then recognizing the difficulties that people have. And they may be in the form of sickness, aging, death, like that. There can be all sorts of problems, relationship problems, domestic violence problems, emotional problems, financial problems, problems to do with one's own emotions, tendency to become depressed, like this. So if we were to imagine across the Sunshine Coast, how many difficulties people have. And think about all the old people in nursing homes, the problems that they're undergoing. But in general, the people who have been kind to us and continue to be kind with us, they have difficulties in their lives. They're experiencing problems they don't understand, relationships, job, COVID-19 experiences, don't really understand, but pain being experienced, suffering being experienced. If you're a woman, you have women's problems. If you're a man, you have man's problems. If you're a lay person, you have lay person's problems. If you're ordained like monk or nun, then you have problems like that. Children have problems. Old people have problems. Everyone has difficulty. Others have been extremely kind. So it makes sense then to generate the attitude of wishing to repay the kindness of others by whatever we can do to help, whatever our skill is, wherever we can help and reach out to help others with their difficulties. Then this life makes the life meaningful. And then there's limitless equanimity or immeasurable equanimity. So this is the generosity of spirit, to develop a real, genuine generosity of spirit towards others. We have a human life. Doesn't take too much intelligence to be able to generate an attitude of concern for those who've been kind to us. But it's a further step to have the generosity of spirit that sees wherever other people are successful and having a good time and appear to be happier than us, that rather than comparing ourselves unfavorably, becoming depressed or jealous, very often jealous, rather than that, on the basis of where other people are experiencing joy and happiness, not at the expense of others, but if they're happy, then limitless joy is the mind that says how wonderful that is. May they continue to experience that. Have that generosity of this spirit, that wherever people are having a good time, may they continue to have that. And if we're able to do this, it really bring about a positive change and a perfect antidote to the tendency to be jealous or be discouraged at others' good fortune. And then fourth limitless thought is limitless equanimity. So then, having engaged in those other previous three and tried to develop more loving kindness and compassion, here we generate that out to expand our mind out, to consider that quality of mind directed towards all beings, regardless of who they are, by understanding how everyone is equal in wanting to have happiness and to be free from suffering. Ourselves, our friends, our enemies, whoever they are. Everyone wishes to be happy and to be free from suffering. Everyone has an equal right to it. And with the human intelligence, to use that intelligence, human intelligence, instead of developing hostility towards people, a generosity of spirit that wishes that everyone, because they have the wish to have happiness, to be free from suffering, may they be able to find that happiness. May they be free of suffering. And then also with this mind of equanimity, remember, although we have friends, often very friends based on what they do. We're a friend because they say nice words to us. Enemy is someone who says nasty things to us. But actually it can change. The friend can become the enemy, and the enemy can become the friend. And the stranger can equally become friend or enemy over this life. So in a way, everyone is equal. If we had a long-term perspective of our existence, particularly past lives, future lives, everyone is equally friend, enemy, stranger. So then, everyone is equally worthy of our concern. And this is the mind of great beings, like His Holiness the Dalai Lama or Jesus Christ or whatever. They didn't have, they had compassion not just for their friends, but for everyone. That's what made them great beings. That's what made Nelson Mandela a great being, because he refused to have hostility towards his enemies. And then if we look into the future of this remainder of whatever's left of this life, every single interaction we have with others into the future, every person we meet, gives us the opportunity to become a better person. Every person we meet, we can express words of kindness to. We can consider them and what they're experiencing and developing more sensitivity to their needs. Every single interaction with another person. And that means the difficult people also give us the opportunity to grow, to become more understanding of why it is that they are the way that they are, and to develop the generosity of spirit to be able to forgive those who harm us. So it's all these people, every single interaction from now until the time we die. Each person is like an extremely valuable jewel, because each of those interactions allows us to flourish and to become a person of joy and happiness. And so then, just to conclude the meditation, here, whatever positive results there have been, even if it's just in the imagination, still it's not to say it isn't helpful. That from this it may influence our heart and our mind in such a way that we're able to act more and more with an attitude of loving kindness towards others, loving kindness and compassion, so as to fulfill our potential and bring about happiness to ourselves and to others.